My name is Eva. So I work with the Ichthyology Lab of Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, and I will present to you extinction risk assessments of sharks and rays in the Mediterranean Sea. Hope you're not too tired. I'll be brief. So, to lay the ground, chondrichthyans, sharks, rays, and chimeras are top predators. They are considered keystone species of the environment because of being top predators, they help regulate the energy within the trophic system. So they have important ecological roles. Because of their importance, declines in the populations can initiate large trophic cascades. Also, chondrichthyans are very vulnerable species due to some biological characteristics, such as slow maturation and low fecundity. They're extremely vulnerable to overfishing, and they need more time to bounce back to normal. In the Mediterranean Sea, we have 88 chondrichthyan species recorded, and we can say that they're a group of species that is endangered globally and especially in the Mediterranean Sea. Dalvi et al. In 2016 notes that at least half of them is threatened, or we have no information of their conservation status. So we do need assessments to prioritize the conservation. The most widely available and used are the IUCN extinction risk assessments that have either a global scope or a more regional scope, and the regional scope being European or in the Mediterranean region. Our goal is, for the first time, to produce localized extinction risk assessments of demersal and benthic chondrichthyan species for 3 non-adjacent Mediterranean ecoregions, the Aegean Sea, the Adriatic, and the Balearic, using the official IUCN criteria, especially the A criterion. If you know, there are 5, but A has to do with reduction in the population size, and it's the most widely used. In order to do that, we used DARA, which stands for Just Another Red List Assessment, developed by Henning Winker. It's a Bayesian state space trend analysis tool. Actually, which means practically that it is an abundance trend analysis tool. Implemented as an R package, it calculates the probability distribution of the population decline under IUCN criteria, and it displays it against the IUCN red list categories, which are here: least concern, vulnerable, endangered, and critically endangered, and also the near threatened category, which is not considered threatened, but near threatened as it describes itself. So DARA has already been used on a global scale for sharks, the conservation status of sharks. In order to use it, you will need a time series of at least 1 abundance index. You can have multiple. We use stratified mean biomass index from the MEDITS project. You also incorporate the uncertainty within JARA analysis. We did that by incorporating the standard error values of the holes per year for each species, which was also provided by the MEDITS project. And also the contribution of FishBase was the generation length of each species. Typically, you need 3 times the generation length of each species. For the MEDITS bottom troll survey data, we didn't collect them, but they're collected with depth stratified random sampling between 10 to 80 meters. The holes are proportional to the surface of each strata, and the time series covers the years from 1994 to 2022 and to 2021 for the Aegean Sea. Here are the regions according to the GFCM. So how we handled the NAs. NAs were excluded from the analysis. As NAs, we regarded zero values biomass records in the beginning of the time series because we were not really sure if they were really zeros or NAs. And the years that you can see here for the Aegean ecoregion, because we know for sure that samplings did not occur in these years. And also we excluded species for which more than 85% of their time series consisted of 0 records and NAs. The number of species for its ecoregion is 23 for the Balearic, 19 for the Adriatic, and 20 species for the Aegean Sea. So for the Aegean Sea, 20% of the species was assigned to a threatened or a near threatened category, 42% for the Adriatic Sea, and 30 plus for the Balearic Sea. In this table, you can see our assessments for the 3 non-adjacent periods, Mediterranean ecoregions, and the official IUCN assessments with Mediterranean or global scope. What we want you to focus, what we found interesting, and we categorized it in 3 groups, is species assigned to threatened categories in multiple Mediterranean ecoregions, species whose Mediterranean ecoregions assessments differ from the official IUCN assessments, and species with a sufficient time series for only 1 ecoregion, actually species with missing data, time series data. More specifically, to give you an example, 2 congeneric species, Squalus acanthias and Squalus blainville. I'll have to explain what the plots here are. So this is the posterior probability density of the population change over 3 generation lengths displayed against the IUCN categories. And here is the trend, the abundance trend of the observed data. On top you have the Squalus acanthias. On the bottom you have Squalus blainville. You can see that for Squalus blainville, it's smooth sail, it's fine, it's categorized as LC, but Squalus acanthias is categorized as critically endangered. Here it's least concern, but here is endangered. Also, another example for Centrophorus granulosus in the Aegean is categorized as near threatened, critically endangered in the Adriatic, and least concern in the Balearic. Also in the Balearic, we can see here that these are projections that data makes if the time series that it is given, it does not suffice 3 times the generation length. Slide, and here is the posterior probability change, the annual posterior probability change of the population of Centrophorus granulosus for 1 with blue color and 2 generation lengths back. To end on a positive note, Raya miraletus was categorized as least concern across all 3 Mediterranean ecoregions. We checked. As you can see, everything is going up, everything is green. So the main conclusions here is that the localized extinction risk assessments could be useful for local management policies. When you have a global assessment, maybe is not a good indicator of what happens in smaller scale areas. Our assessments target demersal and benthine chondrichthian species, so pelagics are not there. It would be nice if we had time series for those 2. We are in need of better data in quality and quantity. There were many species excluded from our assessments. And DARA tool proved to be very useful, very applicable. So we recommend the use of it. Thank you.